A domestic abuse charity has told us that it has rescued several women who've been trapped as domestic slaves after moving here to get married. One victim says her new husband in Leicester told her to be his maid. Well, she's been speaking to our social affairs correspondent, Jeremy Ball.
She left her family and her job in India to make a new start here in Leicester. Fiz was looking forward to a happy marriage, but her British fiancé had other ideas. Fiz says she was controlled by threats and physical violence, and when her husband kicked her onto the streets, she was left with no one to turn to.
My life is hell. Sorry. He doesn't have heart. He said like, I don't want as a wife, I want maid, that's why I bring it to you here.
You want a maid rather than the wife?
Maid. I don't want wife, I want maid to do my work and everything, cleaning my house and make food for me. I'm scared.
It was Zynthia's domestic abuse charity that persuaded Fiz to go to the police. Women are trapped, Zynthia says, because they're living here on spouse visas. That means they're not entitled to housing or support.
It is shocking. They might have not used that very same word of I want a maid, not a wife, but the way that these women are treated, sometimes I would consider as modern day slavery sometimes. In some instances, women are not even provided with food. They're locked up, they cook, clean, and then they're locked up in a kitchen. Quite often what we see is women don't want to leave their relationship because they will become destitute. So if you have no food, no clothing, then what do you expect a woman to do?
The charity says Fiz is one of around 350 women they've helped to flee violence since last March. Now they've put her in a safe house with 3 other victims.
Now I feel blessed. I feel relief. They support me always. If I am break down, they always encourage me. I feel like I can live my life.
It wasn't the life that Fiz expected here, but now she has made a fresh start, and the future is looking brighter.
Oh, it's good, isn't it? Jeremy is here with us in the studio. And you said in your report how many women that the charity have helped since March, but has the pandemic made things worse?
Yeah, they say demand has actually doubled since last March as women are stuck at home during lockdown with abusive partners. And of course, this isn't just women from overseas. A lot of these will be British women, and this is a pattern which is being reported by a lot of other domestic abuse charities too.
Yeah, I was going to ask, what's happening across the whole of the East Midlands?
Well, we've heard, for instance, from Juno Women's Aid in Nottingham. Now, they say demand's risen sharply too. Between March and December last year, they dealt with over 600 people seeking refuge. Calls peaked last summer after the first lockdown. Now, in that period as well, there was a different problem emerging in Derby and Derbyshire because the refuges there were mostly full. I'm told what happened is that meant that lockdown meant they couldn't rehouse people, so it was harder to find space for new arrivals, and what they've done is now tweak the system a bit to deal with that.
And is it true that some extra funding has actually been announced today?
Yeah, we've just heard over £400,000 extra for support services in Nottinghamshire. Now, the Police and Crime Commissioner Paddy Tipping has got this money from the Ministry of Justice. He said it's needed because calls for help have surged during the pandemic, as we know. And he says these services, Anna, are under immense strain.